appreciate everybody coming out today. Just the standard format press conference we usually use. Coach Muschamp will make an opening statement, we'll take questions. And following the press conference, we do have the 4 mid-year enrollees that will be here and will sign their documents, if you will, for photo opportunity. So with that, Coach Muschamp.
Happy signing day. It's a holiday now, I guess. Huh? But, I'll say the same thing every year. We'll know about this class in 2 or 3 years and how they progress in the recruiting process. You got the evaluation, you got the recruitment, and then you got the development. And, that's part of it. You look at last year's class we brought in, 7 freshmen started, 9 guys that we brought in started for us last year. And 14 played, and there's going to be some guys that didn't play for us this past year. They're going to play for us and contribute on this team moving forward. So by no means not playing your first year means anything. There'll be some guys in this signing class that certainly will contribute to our team next fall, and some may not as much, but we need to understand that that doesn't mean they're not good players. That's for sure. But football's a developmental game. A lot of people to thank. Our recruiting office, Robbie Lyles, Jessica Jackson, Brian Turk, and Shaq Wilson work year-round on recruiting. That's what they do as far as from an evaluation standpoint, from gathering information for the coaches, all of those things. They did a fantastic job. Kristen Sheets and our external communication, we're continuing to improve that department and taking steps forward there, and appreciate Coach Tanner's support on that. But a lot of interns spend a lot of time and effort helping us on official visit, unofficial visit weekends. I really appreciate all of their efforts. On the visits, it takes a village to get this thing done as far as to show a recruit and his family what South Carolina is all about. Maria Hickman and her staff do a phenomenal job at the Dodie Anderson and Richmond Center. Just do a fantastic job. We've got multiple professors that come and spend their time and volunteer their time to talk about the different academic disciplines that each student athlete could look at when they come to University of South Carolina. So we really appreciate that. All of our medical staff people, Jeff Guy and Clint Haggard and their staff do a great job. And our coaches did a fantastic job as well. And I appreciate their wives letting their be single parents for a month of January there, and they certainly have spent a lot of time away from home. But Coach Tanner does a great job. He did really every recruiting weekend we had a presentation on our operations facility in our new indoor. The virtual reality tour that the architects allowed us to have, which was really good for the recruits to be able to see that, where we're headed. And obviously Charles Waddell was at every weekend. We appreciate the support from our administration. But 24 signees, I think that one of the, you always are, looking to get your football team better. We needed to get faster as an entire organization, and we got a lot faster. And you look at some of the guys we signed on both sides of the ball, we got longer and more athletic on the offensive line. But we signed 3 receivers that I'm really excited about, and I felt like on all 3 levels helped ourselves defensively. So I'll open it up for any questions.
Please raise your hand. We'll have a microphone to you. Take questions. First one goes to Josh.
Offensively, particularly, that 2016 class provided some guys who were big contributors. Of this, the shoe's kind of on the other foot this year. Of these defensive guys that you signed today, who are the ones that you would identify who could help you?
I think it's always hard to tell, Josh. I'll know a lot more when we get through the summer in August who you want to count on. Obviously, when you sign a junior college player, you're expecting that player to come in and contribute. We needed to get more girth up front, and certainly Javon Kinlaw was a huge signee for us to be able to add that. MJ Webb's a young man that's on campus and been very pleased with his work ethic so far. As far as what he brings to the table, Aaron Sterling's a guy that Tucker High School that we felt like initial quickness-wise has a lot of the attributes as a very mature young man that we feel like can come in and certainly give us some help there. At linebacker, we're very thin. Bryson Allen Williams and Sky Moore coming back, and T.J. Brunson, only 3 guys that we've had playing a college game. So some of these new guys are going to have to come in and help us immediately, and we've got to improve in the secondary. And I feel like that we've signed some guys that we can certainly contribute immediately for us in the secondary.
Some of these guys who played defensive line in high school, you'll look at them at linebacker, I assume.
Right, and I think that's one of the hard things right now is, on defense is finding linebackers because of the way the game has gone to a spread game. Most high school coaches are putting, which and I don't blame them, putting their faster guys at defensive end to rush the passer. So you get more speed on the field, and they're playing more defensive back-like guys at linebacker. In our league right now, the East is moving to more of a spread league, but we still are going to face some two-back teams. Like, for instance, one of our crossover games is Arkansas this year. We're going to get some traditional two-back run game where we've got to be able to play in more of a regular personnel setting at linebacker. So, I think Devon and Damani are two guys that have rushed the passer extremely well in high school, but I think both of them have the ability to stand up and play. I think Brad Johnson's another guy that we feel like could stand up and do some things as well. So, again, a lot of that's going to come down to the summer as we get into fall camp. We've got to make some quick decisions on these guys about where they fit best and get them in a spot and let them play.
I know you're happy to get commitments anytime, but when you finish on National Signing Day the way you did and kind of make some national noise, some notoriety, is that particularly a good feeling for you and your staff?
Well, really, to be honest with you, Phil, when you're going into it, you kind of know. I know everybody likes to show the war room and everybody jumping up and down and hugging each other. For the most part, you usually know. Very seldom have we gone into a signing day not knowing what a young man was going to do. Of course, you never know till you get that picture of the NLI and the financial aid agreement and the conference agreement. But, those are things to me that you kind of have an idea going in. This was a pretty uneventful signing day, which for us, we needed that. We felt very comfortable where we were going into signing day.
Signed a couple of highly rated guys. Just what kind of momentum do you think that adds going forward into the recruiting cycles of the 2018 and 2019 classes?
Well, I think you got to realize where you are. You're 3-9, and then you're 6-7, and we're 2-4 at one point of our season. So one of the major factors you always look at in recruiting is winning, and having the opportunity to go win and win a championship, and that's what we plan on doing here. I think a lot of guys, when they came on their visits here, they realized the positive momentum in the program and where it's headed, and they wanted to be a part of that. And certainly when you're able to attract so-called high-profile guys, I would say that certainly helps you in the future.
Back to room, Jeff.
Coach, just talk about this is your first really full year to be able to recruit. Last year you kind of did everything kind of last second, trying to scramble to put a class together. What was the difference like for you this time around, and how much does that help building recruiting class, just not for this season but moving forward as well?
No doubt. Well, I think as much as anything, you're able to form relationships. It's all about relationships in recruiting and people understanding you and what you're about and moving forward. They've seen a product on the field now. They have an idea of what we want to be in all three phases, and they have an idea about what we're going to do academically here. They have an idea of what we expect socially here as far as our program is concerned. So I think people, when it's a little bit more tangible for them to be able to see those things, I think it's exciting. But the relationships part of it, I think there's a lot less uncertainties with the 24 guys we signed today. We know a lot about these guys, and there's, quite frankly, in a transition year, there's some uncertainties about background. There's uncertainty about commitment level to football and those sort of things. So those are all things that we feel much more comfortable about. I think of the 24 guys we signed, 22 of them were in our camps this summer, and that's huge to be able to coach them exactly the way we're going to coach them when they get here in the fall, so they understand what's going to be expected of them. They understand how they're going to be coached on the field and developed.
Jonathan Kyle.
Well, one of the first things you said when you were hired is you have to win the state, and to get 11 recruits from the state of South Carolina, can you just talk about the relationships you've been able to build within the state and how that basically made up a lot of this
Right.
class?
Well, I think that this state's got really good players and really good coaching. And, these are all guys, every one of these guys we had in camp. We were able to work all of these guys out. And you take the three guys we signed in North Carolina, because I consider that in-state because of the proximity to Charlotte, especially you take Jalen Dickerson, who's on campus right now, and in the 2 morning workouts that I've been a part of athletically can help us immediately. Eric Douglas is a guy we had in camp from Mallard Creek, and then Sherrod Green from Rocky Mount. But all three of those guys were in our camps this summer. But the 11 guys we signed from in-state, we worked them out. We felt very comfortable about where they are. There's a couple, you would say, project position-wise with a couple guys. But, again, Devon Bowen's a 10-600 meter at 230 pounds. Damani Staley's led the state in the last 2 years in sacks. Brad Johnson's set himself apart as a two-way player at Pendleton High School. So all three of those guys we're extremely excited about, to be able to do some different things. You look at Ortre Smith, again, who's on campus here from Wando High School. that we're really excited about. Shy Smith we had in camp as a slot receiver and a returner, can give you a lot of different things as far as those things, contributions concerned. Sonny Carlay's a guy, offensive lineman from Lawrence that, again, on campus, he's great work ethic and a guy that we're excited about. So all the way down the line, these are all guys we're very familiar with. We had them in camp. We've worked them out. We've built a great relationship with, and we're excited about them being here. But they're not anybody that we're falling back on. These are guys we offered early in the process that we knew were important for us moving forward with our program.
You talked about speed. I know getting more speed on special teams is something you've talked about a lot. I'm assuming most of, if not all of these guys will come in, have immediate chance to contribute on special teams.
There's no question. I think the guys see that as well as another, reason to come here was the opportunity to contribute immediately. And we've got to improve our speed as a football team, and that put it a premium at all positions.
John?
Y'all went head-to-head against Georgia for a couple of guys down the stretch. Is there any different kind of dynamic going against Kirby? Do you know what he's saying and kind of how to counterpunch what he's doing?
No, at the end of the day, no different than probably what he does and what we do. We sell the University of South Carolina and what we have to offer, and from an academic, athletic, social, and spiritual standpoint, and how we can help develop the young man. And that's really about it. And the really good recruiters, which Kirby does a nice job, that I've been against, sell their program. And that's what they do. And we're very proud of where we are, more than anything where we're headed.
This morning, Will Register was saying how much he's looking forward to learning from guys like Hayden Hurst. How much do you rely on your older guys to be a positive influence on and off the field for your younger guys?
Our guys did a fantastic job in the recruiting process, and part of being a part of a really good program is understanding they've got to really help us on recruiting weekends, whether it's an unofficial situation or official situation, in hosting these guys and building those relationships, because, great players like to play with other great players. And when they're able to meet those guys on the visits and they're able to form a relationship and be able to ask them sometimes the hard questions about the coaches, about the academic support, about the athletic training support, all of those things are questions that a lot of times are directed to the student athletes that are presently on your campus. So our guys did a fantastic job in the recruiting process.
Will, over the last month of this process, was Clemson winning the national championship ever something that was a hindrance to you or something that impacted this in any way?
No.
Two questions. Will you use the remaining scholarship you have available? And can you talk about Jemias Williams and how you view him as a cover cornerback, considering his size, and how he overcomes that in dealing with taller receivers?
We do have an initial left in this year's class, but that's something that you're always recruiting, and there's always good players out there, whether you sign them on signing day or 3 months after. So you're constantly looking to improve your roster. Jam's a guy that is talented in a lot of ways. Probably, in my opinion, his greatest talent is his work ethic and his competitive edge. And that's the two things that really jump out at you when you see him compete and you see him go after it. Height, to me, is not an issue at all. The guy's close to a 40-inch vertical leap. He's got great ball skills and judgment down the field to finish on plays. So I coached a guy named Gerard Powers at Auburn. It was a very similar player that's still playing in the National Football League. I think he's in his 10th or 11th year. But he had a great competitive edge. He had a great work ethic. He was excited about the opportunity and the challenge to come in here and contribute, and we expect him to do that at corner, at nickel as a returner. And, the guy's really special with the ball in his hands. So we feel like he can contribute in a lot of ways for us.
Coach, you talked about earlier converting guys perhaps from the line to linebacker. When you look at a guy like Staley, how do you think he will be able to make that transition with the type of speed he has? And as you said, he's one of the best sack leaders in the state.
Well, I think, us being able to play some 3-4 and what we'd say an odd structure, to be able to stand up and play on the edge. He's athletic enough to play in space. Certainly has the quickness and the foot speed to be able to, play in space very easily. So it's just a matter of what he's going to be able to handle when he comes in and put him in situations to be successful. And as a staff, we've got to make some quick decisions on some of those guys to put them in one spot and let them play, not move them around too much to where they're confused. And that's something we just got to do a good job of evaluating those guys when they get in, because there are several guys in this class what I would consider tweener-type bodies. Are they going to be an outside backer and rush the edge? Are they a guy that can stand up and play in space? Do they have the ability to key and diagnose off the ball?
Let's go in the back left, Mike.
Coach, the last couple months obviously have been crazy. Right after the season, it doesn't really ever stop for you. But I'm wondering if you take a moment now, like tonight, and what you do to celebrate such a good class.
I don't know, I got to go to the zone and speak. So I guess you call that a celebration. You coming? All right. Okay, great. All right. So, no, I mean, you just go to the next day. We'll be in the office tomorrow morning working on our 18 and 19 class, and then we start our cut-ups next week from the season. So it's just a normal day.
Kind of a big picture question. There were about 750 decommitments over the course of this recruiting cycle across college football. Is that a problem, and how can you rectify it if it is?
At the end of the day, there's no binding to a commitment. And a young man is allowed to change his mind. I've got no problem with that, because when they change his mind and they want to come to South Carolina, it's a heck of a good thing, isn't it? It's pretty awesome, When they do it somewhere else, we all want to get mad at them, But, a young man's allowed to change his mind. They're 17, 18-year-old, kids, and sometimes the information changes. Sometimes a change of heart. Sometimes there's an influence one way or another that may change their mind, and that's fine. That's why you have a deep board. That's why you continue to recruit all the time. That's why you're able to make adjustments and say, take the next best available player. And, that's part of it. I'm not going to let a 17-year-old ruin my day. I can tell you that.
What's Ortre's health status right now? Do you expect him to be full go this spring?
Yeah, I do. He's, came off the ankle surgery, and he is working with our medical staff and is really progressing extremely well. I would expect for him to be cleared either right at spring practice, which starts February 25th, or we're going to have 4 practices, then we'll have spring break, and he'll be cleared after we come back, one or the other. So I want to see how far he progresses in these next 3 weeks, to make sure he's fully cleared before we put him out there. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
What does Johnson bring to the team? What do you think about his skills?
Johnson?
Brad
Yeah.
Johnson.
I think Brad's a guy that's got natural pass rush ability. What we saw in camp, he can flip his hips and turn his hips to the quarterback in the rush. He's got good length in his arms. He's a guy that plays extremely hard. That was one of the things we really liked when we had him in camp was his work ethic. He's been very productive on film. He's an outstanding young man. Everybody at Pendleton High School thinks the world of him, from his administrators to his coaches to everyone in the building. Paul's done a great job with him, and Wendy, his mom, is a wonderful lady. So all of those things, to me, you check all the boxes as far as what you want in your student-athlete here at the University of South Carolina.
This is a non-recruiting question, but Bob McNair and his wife recently pledged a nice little gift for your operations facility. Have you had much interaction with him over the years at all, and just your initial impressions of that kind of a commitment?
I have not. Mr. McNair flew in during the season and wanted to kind of see our plan and Coach Tanner's plan moving forward with our operations facility, and we really appreciate his generous donation to help us out moving forward, and certainly look forward to, he's done a lot for the university, and appreciate his interest in the athletic department as well.
Coach, could you speak a little bit about Kinlaw? He's obviously, he had to go through the junior college process. He had to work hard to get to this point, and what it means for him to commit to this program after going through a lot academically, where he thought about just quitting altogether.
Right. Well, I think at the end of the day, sometimes Javon was a situation when I first got here and saw his transcript from Goose Creek High School. I felt like the best scenario for him was to go ahead and go to junior college immediately, and he was able to do that. But he has done a fantastic job at Jones Junior College. He's had above a 3.0 GPA since he's been there. Sometimes guys mature at different ages, and he's handled his situation wonderfully. Steve Buckley, the head coach out there, just thinks the world of him, is how he has matured in this process and how he's handled himself. And I'm extremely proud of how he's approached the situation and a transition into the middle of his senior year, and how he's handled the whole situation. Extremely proud of him.
we haven't had a chance to talk to you since you hired Eric Wolford.
Mhm.
What was kind of the process like with hiring him? And also, how was he able to contribute to this recruiting class? What was the offensive lineman who you signed? What was their reaction to him and his NFL background specifically?
Well, I think, Wolf's a really, very, very good technician in the interview process. We talked to a lot of people, but he was a guy that, you saw that really could help our program from a coaching standpoint, a scheme standpoint. Coach Roper felt very comfortable with Wolf in the interview process. And then on the recruiting trail, I think he did a fantastic job. We were on Jordan Rhodes' radar a little bit early and did a fantastic job in a very short period of time of developing a relationship. We were on Jordan Carty's radar early. Again, Eric came in and did a really good job of continuing to develop that relationship and solidify Dennis Daly. Summy was already on campus, and then Eric Douglas as well. So you were able to sign 5 guys in that class and improve our length and athleticism as well. But really, really pleased with Eric.
Another off-topic question, but the guy who was your defensive coordinator 4 years ago was a head coach in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What's that like for you? Are you at all surprised to see Dan Quinn in this
Not
situation?
at all. He's an outstanding man, first of all, but he's an outstanding football coach. He's got a real uncommon ability to relate with anybody, motivate guys. Not at all surprised at what they're accomplishing there at Atlanta, and knew Dan would be successful. But he did a fantastic job for us at Florida, and of course went back to Seattle and went to 2 Super Bowls, winning one of them, and we'll certainly be pulling hard for him Sunday.
He was with you at the Dolphins.
Yeah, he was with us at the Dolphins, did a masterful job with an older room of defensive linemen, and they'll probably get mad at me for saying that, but they were. And sometimes those guys can be a little difficult to manage, and just did a masterful job in how he managed the room, and very productive. Jason Taylor ended up being the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. And Dan coached him and did a fantastic job with those guys. He's a really good football coach. He's a great friend, and really pulling hard for him Sunday night. We got workouts Monday morning. He wanted T-Rob and I to fly out to the game, but we had to cancel on him. We got workouts in the morning.
Mike, you're in front.
You kind of made a comment after the Birmingham Bowl directed at pass rushers saying, hey, come on to South Carolina. How
I
satisfied?
didn't say anybody's name.
You did not say anyone's name.
That's
but,
right.
Yeah. How satisfied do you feel
I
with?
was talking to several people, and they understood it.
Yeah, how satisfied are you with the guys you brought in to fill
Well,
that
again,
role?
they got to come out and perform. That's the missing part of signing day. They hadn't done anything at South Carolina, so they've got to come in here with the right attitude and come out here and work. I think you earn your stuff around here.
Anything else for Coach? Matt, get the other players.
Mid-year guys, yeah. Let them have a signing day.
If you want to introduce them when they come in. So Scarlett, sit down. You got a chair? You can introduce them.
Questions? Sure. Let's ask questions. A couple questions. Don't need 10,000 questions. I was really joking.
Mainly just because this is home to me. And also the coaches here really created a family atmosphere for me. And also I felt to connect with them on the attitude of wanting to come in and work hard and try to achieve something really big.
First few weeks, have they been as challenging as you thought they would, or more?
Oh yeah, above and beyond. So, but that's really what I was hoping for. I didn't want anything less than that, and they've definitely surpassed expectations. And I'm looking forward to what's ahead.
Steve, what's been the biggest adjustment for you so far in the first couple of weeks getting acclimated, not just to the football stuff, but also the college atmosphere?
Definitely time management. I had to rush into this today from my second class of the day, and I have to rush out to my third class, and also trying to squeeze in meals from my diet plan and things like that, and also phone time with my mom and stuff like that. So.
I'm the cutest boy.
Sign you up. Sign you up.
I'm looking so far, my daddy's
Everybody good? Coming? Go down? Yep. All right. Got it? Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Congratulations, man. Awesome. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Thank you. Check, check, check. Next up is Jalen Dickerson.
Jalen Dickerson. You got any questions?
Any questions for Jalen? Josh.
Jalen, how big a deal in your decision process was playing time and not, if not immediate playing time, the opportunity for early playing time?
I mean, wherever you go, you're going to have to compete. So, I mean, my mindset was just where I was going to go, I was going to compete and work hard at anything I do. And playing time will come. It's all based on you.
Jalen, can you just talk about the two coaches you have behind you? They have a good resume of coaching some defensive backs in the secondary. What's it like to be coached by them?
When I first stepped on campus, I mean, it felt like a family atmosphere, and that really clicked. We really clicked. And their history of background, the DBs going to the NFL, I mean, that really got my attention. And that's one of the main reasons why I came here.
What do you think you can bring to this defense? I know it's just early on in the process here, but what do you bring to the table to help South Carolina in the secondary?
Man, I'm physical. I like to hit. I guess I can tackle the open space a little bit, but I can get better at everything. So, see moving forward.
Jalen, I think you played quarterback in high school a little bit, right? Played all over. Does that help you make the transition to, you know, is there anything you bring from that to the defensive side of the ball?
I mean, route recognition, I guess you could say. I mean, it's easy to like pick up routes from playing quarterback. I guess I played quarterback in 8th grade, so I mean, I guess that's like picking up route recognition.
Any questions for MJ?
MJ Webb.
Yeah.
What was
that week of bowl practice like for you, getting out here, getting going early?
I mean, it was pretty good. It was a huge change for me. You know, the tempo, the speed of college ball is just real different, and that's what stood out to me. So.
Did you have an early welcome to college moment?
Oh, I did. I did. Yeah, I got my first double team. I got put on my butt, so hey, that was a new experience for me. But I'm looking forward to it.
Have you found your favorite place to fish around here?
Not yet. I usually go home on the weekends, but me and some other players, we've been talking. We're going to go find somewhere. So looking forward to that, too.
What's been the biggest adjustment for you so far in this transition period?
Time management. I think that's going to be what a bunch of guys coming right out of high school, because I struggled a lot with it, and I still do now. So just getting my time right.
MJ, what have some conversations been like with your teammates playing at the next level? What does it take to be at?
They're just telling me to be ready, you know, come in and work, and that's what I do, looking forward to it, looking forward to season, summer workouts to get better.
What was the biggest selling point to you in terms of the physical plan of the university and the football program? I mean, the new dorms or the indoor facility or the ops building they're building, was there something that just really caught your eye and you said, wow, this is just great?
I mean, not really. It was just the town of Columbia, the coaching staff. I'm 2 hours away from home. That's what really stood out to me about the University of South Carolina. So.
Thanks, MJ.
We have one more Ortray.
Yeah.
Mom's on the way.
Want to go ahead and ask questions of Ortray, and he can answer some questions, and then we'll get the photo and microphone. Go ahead.
Ortray, can you talk about what led you here?
The relationship with the coaches, like with my whole recruiting process, like if I had a great relationship with you, then I had a great relationship with you. Like it just stood like close to me, so the relationship.
What do you think about the receiver group that's coming in, plus the receiver group that they have here?
Unstoppable. Like we got monsters on the outside, me, Brian, and then we got people that just make linebackers and safeties look stupid, like Debo and Shai coming in.
What kind of adjustment has it been like to get on campus and take some classes and work out with some players?
Time management. I mean, workouts are a lot different. High school is completely different. And, I mean, that's about it. Just.
Well, Trey, can you describe what this process is like for a guy who's highly recruited in terms of all the things that are coming at you from all the different directions?
I mean, you just got to do what's right for you. Like, you can't listen to everyone, so you just got to make the right decision for you.
Is it stressful? Is it fun? Does that depend on each?
I mean, I looked at it like it was fun to me. Like, I didn't really care what anyone thought, like, with my decision. So, just because a lot of people with Clemson this, Clemson that, so I was like, it's whatever, like, I feel that's the best situation for me.
Wherever you go and whatever you choose from, do you have to tune out noise like that? Do you feel like everybody sort of has to do that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When did you get out of the boot?
Like a week after I got here. Yeah.
How are you feeling physically and going through all that process?
I'm starting to run a little bit, like on the Ultra G. It's like a weight bearing treadmill, and I have tape on my ankle, so it feels fine, and I can move a little bit without like just walking around.
Well, Trey, how nice is it to come in to a program that already now has a quarterback that played half the season last year, who will more than likely be the starting quarterback?
It's great. Like if I build like trust with Jake, so just building trust would be like the #1 thing to build with Jake, and then we can ride on from there.
What type of player does South Carolina have in you on the field? What type of impact do you feel you can make in just your first season?
Well, go up and get the ball, like one-on-one matchups with a smaller DB. Yeah.
And is somebody still here? We can get the group photo?
Yeah. And his mom's coming in.
Is she coming in right now?
Hey, come on.
Save the spot for you out front.
Right here. Big smile. Good. Okay. Right here. Okay.
Probably you go. Let's get everybody in there. Yeah. Oh, we did.
Or a piece of paper. One plate. Just a little bit. See a little bit. That's it. Keep going, big smile. Good. Touch, good in the middle. Yeah. Okay, here we go, right here. Okay. Keep. Okay, couple more here, big smile. All right. Good. Everybody good?